Hi everyone, this is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess, and I just wanted to put this karmic channeling out, and I'm going to do a reading after regarding what happened with the masculines on Father's Day. That whole day was crazy. Like I was getting a whole bunch of downloads and like insights and picking up on different type of energies from various type of masculines, right? Some, the masculine doesn't have to have kids to, be impacted by Father's Day. So there's that. But I wanted to talk about some of the channelings that I picked up before I go into the card reading. And Father's Day is like really it's a tricky holiday for a lot of people because some people they don't have, as well as Mother's Day, some people they don't have good relationships with their father, or their father was absent. Here in America, that's the more common, for the father to be absent from the household, and him not connected to his children for due to societal factors, right? Um, but for a lot of these masculines, I feel like for some of them who are trying to stay in that place of development, and even though they're still in the 3D, they're trying to like get there. They've been thinking about their relationship with their father in relationship to the karmic and in relationship to you. One of the things that I got is that some of these masculines, they witness a lot of violence from their father, enacted on either other women, other people, their mother, etc., or even on themselves. And because of that, these masculines have embodied either one of two type of characteristics, right? It's a spectrum, so I'm not saying it's exactly this or exactly that. One is they are completely disconnected from their own masculinity because of that, because they didn't have a healthy masculine force. So they engage with other masculines, right, in order to get that energy. Or they engage with very male dominant feminines in order to get that energy that they missed from childhood, if that makes some sense, that they missed from their masculine. Another way that this can also manifest is like misogyny, extreme misogyny too, in either circumstance, and in that case, really embodying the toxic masculinity that they saw their father put out there, and then they start to enact that onto different feminines, right? Something else too is the on the extreme end is more of the unhealthy masculinity, which is like I have to be a macho man, I can't cry, and that breeds a lot of toxicity too, because what ends up happening is in these masculines end up getting themselves into a situation where they don't express their feelings, they don't express their pain or their trauma and their hurt, they suppress it, and then they use addictions, they use karmic activities and people and situations and relationships, work, whatever it is, to tune out and check out from that healing that's ever constantly gnawing at them within their core, So that's what I've really been picking up. A lot of these masculines are recognizing like the very deep impact that their relationship with their father has had on them. Another thing that I am getting, that I did pick up, is some of these masculines are recognizing too that they are not a good father if they have children. Some of them they may not have children, and they're maybe like they don't want to have kids, and they're grateful that they don't have kids. But for some of these masculines that do have kids, I feel like this Father's Day something happened. And then on top of that, we had the eclipse come up, very powerful energies on top of the retrogrades. So for some of these masculines, they have young kids, they're realizing that they've not been very active in their children's life, and they've been a problem to their children. Some of these masculines have older children, right? And they're starting to see the ramifications of their behavior on their older children, whether that's their son enacting that same abuse in their relationship, right? Or, dealing with different type of like partnerships that are perpetuating the same type of family trauma. They're starting to realize that. Something else that I did pick up is somebody scolded a masculine. I really felt like the energy of being scolded, like someone really like went to town on them. It was either like their own father or another masculine figure that has like that's really grounded, that they trust, or like maybe a baby mama or a mother figure, or even like a group of friends or family. I feel like there was some type of intervention this past Father's Day for some masculines, because the behavior is just out of control. And they really have to sit in their own shit, that their shit does stink. Because for some of these masculines, they're so narcissistic, they feel like their shit doesn't stink. And then they have multiple people telling them the same exact thing at the same time. They're like, okay, this is something I actually do have to address. And this is a problem. So they're starting to actually like look at some of these behaviors that are very, very toxic. And which is, one of the reasons why you guys couldn't be in union, because they needed to do that healing, right? Something else that I picked up on as well is some of these masculines are recognizing that the only reason why they're in a relationship with their karmic is because they didn't want to be associated with like the archetype of their father, if that makes some sense. Or they are under pressure in terms of what a man should do or should be to either their children, their family, or their woman, you know? So for some of these masculines, they witness their father like not pay bills, not be around, or treat the mother really bad, not give her love, so that they get into situations with these karmics. And then what ends up happening is they feel guilty for what they saw like their mother go through or that they couldn't help them with. So instead of them to recognize the karmic is not your mother, right? Because they, a lot of the times the masculines are in relationships with karmics because of like mommy issues, like literally that's why. It's called the Oedipus complex and the Electro complex. Look that up. So they see the karmic as like, you know what, this is a way for me to kind of like, you know, make amends for what I saw my mother go through, or my siblings, etc., for what my father did. So let me just like kind of put up with the fuckery, put up with the bullshit, try to be a better man so that I'm not associated, you know, with like the legacy that my father left. Another set of these masculines, the reason why they acted the way that they do with the karmic is because they don't want to be associated with like the archetype of like their father not being a dog or having kids all over the place, etc., you know. So they stay in toxic situations that make them unhappy because they're afraid and worried about what other people are thinking, but in the process they're losing themselves, you know. So they just did the same exact thing that their own father did, but just in a different way. They still lost themselves. They're still lost in the sauce, in the karmic sauce. What else am I picking up on? It's just, I feel like it's always some trauma healing going on with some of these masculines. But I do feel like for some of these masculines who like to play the victim all the time, you know, and they don't like to take accountability for their action, something that I am picking up on is that these masculines are starting to realize that they are not the victim, that they are two victimizers. I feel like a lot of these masculines could have experienced a lot of abuse or pain from their father. And because of that, they also became a victimizer. But in order for them to like not be the reflection of the person that they most hate, they try to like flip it back, like their poor actions back onto you. So some of you, a lot of you guys talk about like your masculine's narcissistic and they're always a victim. They never take accountability for their actions. That's because like in their mind, what they went through as a child was so like scarring or traumatic or jarring that they could never be a victim. Like, oh, I went through all this, I can never be a bad person, like, because I at least I didn't do what my father did. But as they continue on their journey, especially dealing with you and dealing with the karmic, they start to realize like not only are they their father, they're like a spitting rendition because they didn't do that inner healing work, because the whole time they were scapegoating, right? And they were looking for like, oh, well, I don't do that, so I'm not like him. I don't do that, so I'm like not like him. But they became an entire manifestation of the person that they're trying not to be the whole time. So I feel like it was really deep this past Father's Day. I picked up on a lot of different energies, and I picked up for some masculines, you know, who don't have children, you know, who are still on that journey, getting there. A lot of them are starting to look at the ways in which like their father has impacted their life trajectory and how that's impacting their behavior and how they're showing up in relationships, which is a good thing, you know, because a lot of us feminines, we're always doing that. They always talk about, women having daddy issues. Men have daddy issues too. Like, come on now. Like, why is it that it's only women that have daddy issues? No, men got daddy issues too. And that's why they end up getting with karmics who are emotionally detached, right? Or who chase them because either they're afraid of commitment, so they want someone who's equally as narcissistic and sociopathic and detached, or they have a point to prove to the world and they fear some type of like loss or abandonment, so they pick karmics that are very super clingy and codependent and that they have to take care of. Because another thing that I also picked up on too was like some of these masculines are starting to realize with their relationship with the karmic that they feel like manhood is needing to be needed. Like, oh, I can pay her bills, or if I can control her in some type of way with her, like her needs in life, like her housing or a car or something like that, then I'm the man. It's like some of these masculines are realizing that they are the karmic's dad, if that makes some sense. That they are daddy to the karmic, like literally and figuratively. Some of them provide house and home for the karmic, and they realize like, whoa, I'm actually this woman's father, and she actually turned me into her father through this relationship. They're starting to see the sickness, right, that has been bred because of the lack of healing that they've done. A lot of these masculines too are starting to realize too that they have very toxic relationships, misogynistic in many ways, relationships with women as well, you know, and this, whatever situation that they dealt with the karmic's not going to tell them that because they enjoy them being in that energy, right? Because then they can easily control them or manipulate or whatnot, get their way. But when they come across you feminine and you're like, actually, no, that's toxic. Fuck no, I'm not getting involved in that. Hell nah. Absolutely no, right? No, it's not going to happen. Then they have to reassess their behavior, and they're starting to realize that they do have an issue. With women, they have an issue with their father. They have an issue with their masculinity and how they express it, and that it's very toxic. And that there's been women all across, your community or your city or your state or country that have fallen victim to this lack of healing that they've been perpetuating for all these years. So that's what I picked up in terms of these masculines for Father's Day. And, some of them can currently be like awaiting a pregnancy to happen or waiting for a baby to be born or something like that. And I feel like a lot of them are really contemplating like, the changes that they need to make in order for that to come through. Or some of them, they don't want to be there, but they are so afraid of like disappointing somebody or not being grouped into the same category as somebody, right? Their father, basically. Or the men in their family, that they're staying in toxic situations. So that's what I have for you. Oh, the bad father thing. We'll pick that up in the card reading. Anyways, y'all, so I'm going to go ahead and continue the oracle reading on Patreon. I hope you all enjoy this channeling. Thank you so much. Bye.